All right, let's talk about CAN bus and CAN ID orders. Don't worry, this shouldn't take too long. CAN stands for Controller Area Network, and bus is meant to illustrate the shared communication system in which our devices can communicate to one another. In our scene, multiple devices can use CAN bus to talk and share information to and from one another, like two controllers operating at the same time, or like a controller talking to a BMS. They share 4 wires: power, ground, CAN L or low, and CAN H, high. Once this physical connection is made, both of our devices can send and receive packets of information to and from one another. Each device has a CAN or VESC ID. This system is used so that other devices can identify one another and have an order of importance. If you've watched my intro to VESC video, you'll know that the VESC Express is the Bluetooth module for some of our ESCs. In this case, the VESC Express CAN ID is 2 and our Thor's VESC ID is 3. This makes the VESC Express a higher priority than the Thor, so that peripherals like our phones know to connect to the VESC Express first and not the Thor. The priority is dictated by the numerical value. Lower values are higher priority and higher values are lower priority. 1 is usually reserved and isn't usable. And don't ask me what it's reserved for, I just know that it is and that's it. The values themselves don't matter, but it's the order in which they're placed. So you can have these numbers spread across 2, 54, 104, it doesn't matter as long as they're in order with one another. But know that when you're trying to connect to your device, your phone is going to have to scan every single number, and the higher it is, the longer it's going to take to connect, and your connection might time out. So this is going to cause connection interruptions or issues. It's best to try to have these as low as possible, but in the correct order. But issues can mess up when the priority is messed up when other devices are connected to the network. Like if another device has the same CAN ID, has different baud rates, or if the order is messed up by another device that shouldn't have priority. You'll usually see this whenever you try to connect to your device or try to do a CAN scan, and you're not able to see all of your devices. Something is blocking your comms, and it needs to be reordered. When dealing with this issue, it's probably best to have a different connection to all of your devices so that you can easily sort it out. In the case of Fungineers boards, their ESCs have 2 USB ports, one for the VESC Express and the second for the Thor. And the VBMS, or whatever BMS you have, should have a USB port that you can connect to as well. You're going to have to reorder your devices so it looks something like this: VESC Express 2, ESC 3, and BMS 4. To find your VESC Express's CAN ID, connect to the VESC Express and then navigate to the CAN tab. Here you'll find your CAN ID. For your VESC, you're going to have to go into App Config and you'll see your VESC ID. And if you're trying to connect to a BMS, it's going to be just like the VESC Express. You'll find this tab somewhere named CAN and you'll find the CAN ID. You can switch all of these up whenever you want to. Be very careful with firmware updates. The moment you install fresh firmware on any device, it'll usually reset your CAN ID to another number. Most fresh controller firmware is going to automatically set that ID really high, breaking your entire order. While you're at it, you should also check your baud rates. This is the frequency for communication that both devices can use across the CAN bus. They should all be set to 500K. The wiring of your CAN is also very important. If you don't have your wires properly matched, your communication isn't going to work and it's going to cause more disruption. If you have problems seeing other CAN devices, try unplugging all of your external CAN devices or other things like lights or whatnot. If you unplug something and it starts working again, that probably means the CAN wiring is bad, CAN high and low are flipped, the connected device has the same ID as your VESC Express, or the device has a hardware problem. This isn't likely, but it is possible. So, just to recap, if your Bluetooth devices aren't working, you need to check your CAN ID orders across all of your devices. You need to check your baud rates so that they're all communicating on the same frequencies. And you need to check your wiring. Make sure that your CAN wire is in the correct port and make sure that it's wired properly. If all of that fails, disconnect everything and try one more time. And if all of that fails, it's probably time to talk to customer support. But that's it. Good luck building. I don't know where to walk to. I could just walk this way. Yeah, let's do that.